Hello friends, it's me, and today, do you still remember the meme? My bedroom straight to Five Guys. Hey! Let's check out food theory. Why did Five Guys get so expensive? From the food theorists. Together, let's go. Let's start. Thank you.
I know what you're thinking.
What I'm thinking is subscribe. I want to reach 10k subscribers to monetize my channel. Right now it's only 2.58k.
It's corporate greed. We've been through this. And you know what? You're right. I'm not even gonna fight you on that one this time. But if I'm starting the video by saying that, you can trust me when I say that there's so much more to it. And by the end of the video, you're not just gonna understand their greed, you might even be thanking them for it.
Okay, hello, that is definitely not what I'm thinking. Sorry.
Internet, welcome to Food Theory, the only show that can ask the same question 3 times and get a different answer every time. And here we
Hello Internet, welcome to Food Theory.
are. Third time's the charm, because we're getting the obvious thing out of the way first. It's greed. Big surprise. Companies like money, and they like making money. Dislikes include things that are not money and not making money. But Five Guys feels like it's become an extreme outlier on the price front. I recently went back for a short and ended up paying 40 bucks for 2 burger combos. Like, dude, and that is not
more than half $100 SGD dollars, Singapore dollars.
Not an exaggeration. I got receipts. Even if Five Guys is more premium than, say, McDonald's or Burger King, that's still outrageous prices for fast food. So what gives? Well, let's look at the usual suspects, shall we? Because, well, at the end of the day, it is the company trying to maximize profits. Seldom, if ever, do they just release a statement saying, "We want to make more money, lol." No, they wrap it up in language and excuses that make it seem like they have no choice. They're just business people trying to make it through the day. Forget the fact that they cleared over $3 billion in sales this year. They're barely staying afloat. The first familiar face we come across is inflation, something we've talked into the ground in the previous 2 episodes, but there's another aspect of inflation to take into consideration, especially with the inflation rate thankfully decreasing, at least a little. And that is the fact that while prices will usually go up with inflation, they don't always go down with it. Instead, what happens is the rate that the prices are going up at just slows down a bit. That's why inflation at the time of writing for this episode may be at a 3-year low, but prices are still about 20% higher than they were before the pandemic. But this isn't me hand-waving away.
Alright, stop. Let's not misunderstand. Inflation, if it's small, it's good. If I'm not wrong, annually 1% of inflation is good. But 2.9%, 2.4%, that is ridiculously huge.
A $20 burger combo. Absolutely not. No waving here. This is me setting up the unfortunate reality that comes with people finally getting paid what they deserve. Because one of the most important things that goes up with inflation is employee wages. And obviously that's a good thing. But when inflation goes back down, it's not like Five Guys can suddenly say, "JK, there goes your raise." If they did that, you can guarantee the top dogs at the company would get pelted with those free peanuts for the rest of their lives. So instead, they keep costs at the price point they've been at to pay employees their wages and keep making a profit. And God forbid that they cut even $1 into their profits, otherwise their vacation plans might have to change from first class to, gasp, premium economy. But if you're a normal person planning a trip somewhere, make sure to check out the sponsor for today's video, Saily. Saily is an eSIM service app brought to you by Nord Security that lets you choose affordable plans to make sure that no matter where you go, you'll always have an internet connection for your phone. Let me tell you, I wish I had this for my honeymoon trip to Japan. Because when you're surviving off of maps and translation apps, the last thing you want is to be somewhere without Wi-Fi. And Saily is so easy to use. Even someone as bullheaded as Tom can get started in no time. All you have to do is download the app, buy a plan,
Sorry, Tom.
install the eSIM, and activate it when you're ready, and biggity bam! You're connected wherever you are, no matter what phone you have either. All I'm saying is, I wouldn't have had my own incident at Shibuya had I had Saily. Don't be like me or get trapped like Gojo and download Saily using the code FOODTHEORY at checkout for 15% off. The best part is that thanks to Saily, you can minimize roaming fees, which can almost get as expensive as 2 Five Guys burgers. It's literally money in your pocket, and if you're ever struggling, they have 24/7 support. I should clarify, support for for the eSIM. If you're in the fetal position because you're abroad and didn't realize that the last burger at the airport depleted your vacation fund, you're kind of out of luck there. But the 24/7 support will make sure that you'll be able to connect with a shoulder to cry on. So use the QR code on screen now or use my code FOODTheory to download Saley and save 15% off at checkout. Thank you again, Saley, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's go back to burgers and fries. Meeting the minimum for human decency when it comes to paying their employees what they're worth isn't exactly the culprit for the cost, though. The big talking point you see, and the one their CEO even addresses, is how expensive the ingredients are for their food. So just how wages go up with inflation and stay there, so do the prices that the suppliers of Five Guys' ingredients set. In the CEO's own words, if the mayonnaise guy triples his price, they pay triple for the mayonnaise, and then they'll increase the price of their product. It doesn't necessarily mean they'll triple the cost of the burger because of the mayonnaise, but when it's the mayo, the ketchup, the lettuce, the cheese, and the patties that are getting tripled in price, it all adds up. And it may suck, but at the end of the day, they do need to keep making money because they are a business. I know I made a few jokes earlier at their expense, but the fact of the matter is, if they start hemorrhaging money, they'd be closing shop faster than Mike Tyson signing the contract to fight Jake Paul for the easiest $20 million of his life. But in
Bruh.
researching for this episode, two things stuck out to me: how cheap the rest of the menu at Five Guys is, and how heavy their burger is. Let's start with the menu. Outside of their burgers and shakes, Five Guys is pretty reasonable. The hot dogs hover around an average of $8, while the other sandwiches, like the veggie sandwich to the grilled cheese, live between the $5 to $7 range. That's not even including the free peanuts I mentioned being chucked at the Five Guys execs earlier, or the infamous extra scoop of fries everyone gets greasing up the bottom of their bag. Seriously, I know Matt and I have had this discussion very publicly already, but what is up with that? Don't get me wrong, I'm not one to look a gift fry horse in the mouth, but I just hate reaching in and coming out with a fresh coating of grease all the way up to my elbow. Point is, Five Guys is weirdly laissez-faire when it comes to the quantity and cost of their other food items. That is because they'd rather charge more for the hero of their menu and let people think that they're saving money on other things like the fries. I'll be the first to admit, when I got angry about the price of the burger, but realized I had gotten a pound of french fries in the bag, it definitely helped. So basically, they front load the cost of everything on the burger so that they can keep giving out those free peanuts and bag fries. The other edge to this sword, though, is that you end up paying for things that you might not even want to begin with. The best example of this is all the toppings Five Guys.
Wait a minute. Free peanuts, but what if peanut allergy? Yeah.
provides. I've made it a point in other videos in the past that their customization options are phenomenal, and they're all free-ish. See, the price of the burger not only factors in the extra fries and the peanuts, but the toppings as well. So even if you're someone that likes a plain cheeseburger, you're still paying for the A1 sauce, barbecue sauce, ketchup, mustard, mayo, relish, onions, tomato, lettuce, mushrooms, peppers, and pickles. Yeah, the free toppings are bologna, which is funny because bologna is pretty much the only thing that isn't a topping. In fact, the whole menu being cheap is pretty much bogus because every burger you pay for means you're paying for a piece of the whole menu. So unless you're taking advantage and getting every topping, fries, going for refills, and chowing down on D's, I mean, they're free nuts, you're leaving a lot of money on
These.
the table. But it's not all bad news because, like I mentioned, the other thing that caught my eye is the weight of the burger. It is a hefty boy. Each Five Guys burger patty comes in at about 3 ounces for a total of 6 per burger. To put that into perspective with a competitor, McDonald's burger patties on the Big Mac clock in at 1.5 ounces for a total of 3. So the meat in the entire Big Mac is only equal to 1 of the 2 Five Guys patties. Woo-wee! Talk about hitting your protein goals for the day. Considering the average cost of ground beef in the US is between $5 to $7, this would mean that each burger from Five Guys has anywhere between $1.8 to $2.6 worth of ground beef in it. McDonald's, on the other hand, gives you between 94 cents to $1.30 worth of meat. And like we've established, the Big Mac prices don't really make 1 and 1 equal 2 here. So basically, with a hamburger with no cheese costing me $10.29 by itself, that means 20% of that price is accounting for just the cost of the meat. That means 2 things for you. 1, considering the only other thing that comes on the standard hamburger is the bun, and I doubt it makes up for the other 80%, that's a lot of extraneous costs on a plain burger. But 2, 20% is a big part of that final cost. And considering that ground beef has risen over $1.50 in the last 5 years, from $4.23 to $5.89, that's a large part of the final cost that Five Guys has to make up for. Any small fluctuation in meat costs will impact the burger in a huge way. okay. But as long as the price of meat keeps going up, the price of the burger should too. And that's a good thing. Fact of the matter is, so long as they're increasing their costs accordingly, that means they aren't skipping corners or skimping out on meat. Looking at you, Sonic, with your mushrooms blended into your meat. It's been a year since Matt and I did the Frankenburger episode, and I'm still salty about it. Back to the point. I'm not the only one that thinks that the rising prices is a good thing. Chef and restaurateur Andrew Zimmern also shared the opinion in an interview, saying that, yeah, with the price of bacon and beef, if you're paying less than $12 for a burger, you probably shouldn't eat it. So yeah, Five Guys is expensive because of corporate greed. At the end of the day, they have to make money. And not just make money, but have continuous profit year after year to keep functioning as a business in this world. That said, their greed is transparent. They fully acknowledge that they have to keep their margins steady, but they continue to provide beefy patties, pun intended. And so long as their prices adjust for the cost of beef, no matter whether it's an increase or decrease, it means that you can rest easy that what you're getting in that burger is 100% never frozen beef. Same goes for all the other ingredients whose price is fried into the burger. Basically, if their prices stayed the same or even dropped with the rising costs of everything, that would be far more worrying. But
so, if I'm not wrong, it's kind of a double-edged sword. There are pros and cons to consider.
Hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit. And hey, if you want to hear more about expensive fast food, click the link on the screen now. And as always, I'll see you next week.
Oh, see you next week. See you next video. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. But hey, that is just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you all so much. Subscribe. Thank you. Touch my heart. Thank you all so much. Thank you.